Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today, Friday the 13th, is synonymous with bad luck and superstitions, but all you'll find between these pages is information of prosperity. We kickstart the weekend with a review of the achievements of the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology in 2016. Then we'll turn the pages to eliminating mosquitoes from in and around our homes. Stay with us. It promises to be another informative show.
Violence against women and girls is a human problem, not just a woman's problem. It's a problem for men too. Gender violence takes many forms, including sexual assault, domestic violence, relationship abuse, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of children. The magnitude of ongoing violence against women and children in our country is cause for alarm. We can end the violence. It requires all of us to end the violence. I call on all our men and women in Jamaica to take a stand. And men, especially, must get involved in this movement to create a better world for their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their fathers, their sons, and for themselves. Let's protect and reassure. Let's unite to end gender violence.
Good day. I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, January 13. Government will be opening a hospitality school in 2018. The Ministry of Tourism is partnering with professionals from international tourism training institutions to design and develop the school. Cabinet approved arrangements for the establishment of the school on Monday, and the agreement was signed during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing.
The focus of the institution will be heavily on hands-on. So we will be training for competence as well as for pedagogic.
The tourism minister says the school will train persons for middle and upper level positions and will focus on the 5 strategic areas of gastronomy, knowledge, shopping, health and wellness, and sports and entertainment. It will be constructed alongside a hotel to allow students to have practical experience in the relevant aspects of the industry.
But in addition, we will be partnering with a number of specialized institutions in the world that deliver on elements of the 5 networks.
Professor Emeritus of Management and Tourism Studies at George Washington University, Donald Hawkins, will be leading a team tasked with developing the design of the institution and its programs. At the end of their 50-day term, the team is expected to produce a business plan that will serve as a guide for the establishment of the school. Government has launched a new vehicle management system designed to technologically capture all motor vehicle fitness and driver's license information. That information is currently captured manually at examination depots island-wide. The new system will eliminate the need for paper and duplication of fitness records.
But is also to communicate with other stakeholders across the government structure. Example, the tax administration. We are now going to be in a position to provide information, or better yet, share information, that we can move the public and private sector from the ITA data store.
It will also eliminate and reduce bogus fitness certificates, promote more compliant vehicles on the roads, increase cost savings, and reduce transposition errors. The pilot became fully operational on January 12 at the Swallowfield Island Traffic Authority. It will be rolled out on a phased basis at other locations. Acting Police Commissioner Novelette Grant is urging the more than 200,000 persons who have failed to comply with traffic tickets issued last year to do so. ACP Grant made the call on Wednesday during a press briefing at the Office of the Commissioner of Police. She reported that the police issued over 437,000 traffic tickets in 2016, and to date, only 50% of those issued the tickets have complied.
We are reminding you that you have a legal obligation to pay the fines or go to the court and defend the issuance of such tickets.
There was a 64% reduction in the number of Jamaicans denied entry to Trinidad and Tobago for the period March to December 2016. Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith made that announcement during a press conference on Wednesday. She said there had also been fewer complaints of mistreatment.
We've received feedback from travelers and through inquiries by our Jamaican High Commission in Port of Spain that there is a generally improved experience at immigration.
Last year, scores of Jamaicans complained about being mistreated by immigration officials at Trinidad's Piarco International Airport after they had been refused entry into the country. Following Trinidad Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's visit to Jamaica in July, an action plan was drafted outlining cooperation programs and activities. Senator Johnson-Smith said that the ministry is pleased with the measures taken by the Trinidadian government in solving the immigration issues. She says the ministry has embarked on a public education campaign to sensitize the Jamaican public on travel within CARICOM countries. And finally, the Hampton High School has been given until January 30 to submit a full report to the Education Ministry regarding the principal's alleged actions outside the St. Elizabeth Parish Court last week. The principal, Heather Murray, was reportedly at the court in support of her friend, who is the wife of a minister of religion accused of sexual abuse of a minor. She has been sent on 2 weeks' leave starting next Monday and is to submit a formal report about her actions to the school board. That decision was taken on Wednesday during a meeting held by Education Minister Roel Reid and senior ministry officials, members of the Hampton School Board, and the Monroe and Dickerson Trust. During the meeting, Mrs. Murray is reported to have tabled an apology. Minister Reid says it's important for her to take this time off for reflection, given how her actions were interpreted and how the controversy has affected her administrative responsibilities. Ahead of the meeting, the minister addressed the serious nature of the allegations made against the 64-year-old minister of religion.
I have personally found the reports very disturbing, and I've been working with Minister Green and with the various agencies to ascertain the facts and to encourage responsible action to see to the protection of the minors involved.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
Up next, an in-depth review of the achievements of the ministry that is plugged into the future of industry and human interface.
The outcome of the 2016 general election in February resulted in a changing of the guard, which saw Dr. Andrew Wheatley taking over from Mr. Philip Paulwell. The mining portfolio was removed from the ministry, which led to a name change: Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology. Several projects came on stream in 2016 under the energy portfolio. The objective: reduce oil imports, produce clean energy and enable efficiency.
Us having our own energy independence speaks to our own national security. That is why this government is committed to ensure that we diversify our energy sources. And renewables is one option to ensure we have that level of independence.
The $45 million government-run Wigton 3 wind farm was commissioned in June, adding 24 megawatts of renewable energy to the national grid. In August, the opening of the Blue Mountain Renewable Wind Energy Plant added another 36 megawatts.
It's a call to utilize Jamaica's abundant renewable resources. It is a call, ladies and gentlemen, to action for the redeployment of as much of US $11 billion in savings from renewables to production and job creation in the economy.
The construction of the country's first solar energy farm, Content Solar, began operation in August. The $61 million plant will provide another 20 megawatts to the national grid. The 2016 electricity license awarded to the Jamaica Public Service Company in January enables low electricity prices to consumers and the use of liquefied natural gas, LNG. On November 11, the country's first LNG terminal was commissioned. And the possibility of producing our own gas and oil was explored. UK oil company Tullow Jamaica Limited conducted a survey offshore on the south coast of the island between February and March. The data is being assessed. Motorists affected by contaminated gas in 2015 got welcome news last year when the Energy Minister announced a push to grant them compensation.
We are currently having discussions with the marketing companies to see, even though they are not culpable, but to see as a form of goodwill gesture if we can put together some form of compensation.
Before that dialogue took place, measures were introduced in June to prevent any reoccurrence.
The government remains resolute in our commitment to ensure that measures are in place to protect consumers.
Under the technology portfolio, access to government information was made easier and free of cost with the launch of the Open Data Portal in June.
Jamaicans will be able to access key Government of Jamaica sites, services and Ministry of Education content to pay taxes, apply for birth certificates and access educational materials online for free, Mr. Speaker.
In March, technology entrepreneurs were connected to international and local players in the industry, opening doors for scholarships and business opportunities.
As a government, we are committed to propelling the animation industry.
The expansion of internet connectivity continued under the Community Access Point project by the Universal Service Fund.
With information, we can and must empower our people to be aware and secure in cyberspace.
And speaking of empowerment, the Scientific Research Council gifted 8 schools with new equipment to help practical teaching sessions in their science labs. The Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, enabling productivity through lower electricity cost and enabling technology and science-based entrepreneurs to realize their full potential.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Mental disorder is not restricted to any particular age group. Young people are among those who have to battle with depression and other mental disorders. Up next, tips to combat the blues.
Mental health matters. Look after myself. Mental health. So you must reduce your stress so you can be your best. Mental health matters.
Medical experts say children and adolescents can have mental, emotional, and behavioral problems that are real, painful, and costly. These problems, often called disorder, are sources of stress for children and their families, schools, and communities. According to Dr. Judith Leiber, Director of Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services in the Ministry of Health, there are significant numbers of young persons across the world that are affected by mental, emotional, and behavioral disorder. It is estimated that as many as 1 out of 6 children and adolescents may have mental health disorder that will require treatment. Psychiatrists say there are some particular mental, emotional, and behavioral disorders that may occur during childhood and adolescence.
Our clinic statistics in Jamaica indicate that attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is one of our more commonly diagnosed disorders. Child abuse, particularly sexual abuse, The next one, and conduct disorder is also fairly common, and depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. If a child basically was an unwanted child, that puts them at greater risk. Or if the mother was something like a substance abuser, or mother used substance abuse during the pregnancy. Studies have shown if a mother is depressed or highly stressed during the pregnancy, there are actually chemical changes that occur in the brain of the child that sets up the child for greater behavior problems later. And of course, any insult during the pregnancy which may cause brain damage can also set them up for behavioral problems. During the birthing period, if there's any major trauma to the brain or where oxygen to the brain has been cut off for some time, those children too tend to develop more behavioral problems. The first year of life is the most important task of a child is bonding, having one consistent, loving, nurturing caregiver. If that does not occur and the child does not get the love and care in that first year of life from one consistent caregiver, they are more at risk later for behavioral problems.
Medical experts say mental health disorder in children and adolescents are caused by biological and environmental factors or a combination of the two. Examples of biological factors are genetics, chemical imbalance in the body, and damage to the central nervous system, such as head injury. Some of the environmental factors that can cause mental health disorder in children and adolescents include exposure to violence, extreme stress, and loss of an important person in the life of the child. The Director of Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services said there is now hope for young people with mental, emotional, and behavioral disorder. Most of the symptoms and distress associated with the disorder can be alleviated with timely and appropriate treatment and family support.
Some of these disorders are self-limited or resolved by themselves, like the adjustment disorder. If a parent goes away for a while and the child suffers the ill effect, but then the parent comes back or somebody takes the place of that parent, then the child may resolve. And a lot of them can be managed very well with what we call psychotherapy, talk therapy, behavior management, parent education, and sometimes we have to also use pharmacotherapy or medication.
However, Dr. Leiber pointed out that if the disorders are not treated or managed in time, it may have negative effects on the child's ability to learn.
The part of the brain that has to deal with memory is right beside the part that has to deal with emotions. So when our negative emotions are overactive or overstimulated, our ability to store knowledge and to store memories is greatly impeded. So we find that these children, sometimes the way they present is that they are not performing well in school and doing as well as other children. I saw you join some circles outside.
Dr. Leiber noted that the key to proper management and cure of mental health disorder in children is the ability of parents to recognize the problem in time and seek appropriate treatment. She said there are two major groups of signs and symptoms of the mental health disorders in children and adolescents. If a parent or caregiver discovers any of them in children, they should seek help immediately. For more information on how to manage mental health disorders in children and adolescents, contact your doctor or any child guidance clinic at any health centers and hospitals across the island. You can also get valuable information from the Child Guidance Clinic at the Bustamante Hospital for Children in Kingston. Telephone 968-0300 through to 9 or 405-4561.
All the people them with a Zig V, hold up your hand. Zig V in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send no stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. More hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No litter, dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing they with country and blacker. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we all retire, turn over, drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies. Protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If you do all that we can to keep them away. For we know wars in vain.
News came recently of 2 imported cases of malaria in Jamaica. To prevent an outbreak of the virus, here are some tips to remove the pesky insect that spreads this and other diseases.
Mosquitoes are undoubtedly annoying, with their irritating sound and stinging bites. But there are more compelling reasons we'd rather not have them around. Several species are carriers of diseases and a threat to human health. Of most significance to Jamaica is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, known to transmit dengue fever, chikungunya, yellow fever, and the Zika virus. Only female mosquitoes bite, doing so to get the blood they need for egg production. And therefore, only female mosquitoes transmit these viruses.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is what we call a timid feeder. So she's easily disturbed when feeding. It means that in one night, she may feed on several persons before she takes her complete blood meal. Each time she feeds, she secretes that substance. And in the secretion of the substance, the pathogen is passed on. So in one night, one female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to infect more than one person.
The female Aedes aegypti mosquito is a prolific breeder.
One female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to lay up to 200 eggs each time she lays her eggs. So one mosquito can populate an entire area.
The lifespan of the mosquito is around 3 weeks, and the entire cycle from egg to adult can occur in as little as 7 to 8 days. Female mosquitoes are ready to mate within a few hours after reaching their adult stage, and males are usually ready within 24 hours.
This mosquito prefers cleaner waters. For the female mosquitoes, she will lay her eggs in water, and for the Aedes, it will be water which is in and around the household.
So while there are a number of things we can and should do to prevent being bitten, the most effective way to prevent the spread of diseases by these mosquitoes is to prevent their breeding.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is a mosquito that breeds in a containerized environment. They do not breed in rivers and drains, but they breed in containers that can be found in and around where persons dwell. So come with us and let us show you some of those breeding sites. This is a typical dish drainer that we find in most homes. And under most dish drainer is a tray that collects the water that comes off the dishes. And believe it or not, we have found breeding in several homes in these dish drainers. Yes. You can see that we have water that has settled. If this water does not evaporate quickly, it can lend itself to the breeding of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So you not only have to empty the dish drainer, but you have to scrub to remove those eggs. This is the typical saucer that we will find under a plant. The rain has recently fallen, it has collected water, and right now it is steaming with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Do you have some of these in your home? Aedes aegypti prefers water that is a little bit on the cleaner side, and it's found in a shaded environment. So what should we do with something like this? It's quite simple. You need to throw away the water. And if these containers are not being used, you have to keep them turned down so they're not able to collect water. If you have them under your plants, we ask that you bore holes in them so that it will not collect water. Do you have these in your homes? We find these in a lot of hotels and business places. And we ask those persons, check these bird baths or any ornamental things like these you have in your garden to ensure that they're not breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There are things like this thrown down in person's backyard. Old equipment, old furniture, old fixtures that are taken from homes, especially during construction. These are also able to hold water. And if they're holding water and sit for a while in the environment, they will also breed mosquitoes. And so we have found breeding in wheelbarrows, in old refrigerator, in old sinks such as this one. And we ask persons, if you're throwing out these, please ensure that they are positioned in such a way that they will not collect water.
Many persons, when they do have their drums, most times the drums do not have any covers. So there is a mesh cover which is so designed to replace the missing covers. It is lightweight, and what we do is just simply slip it over, and the mesh is so designed mosquitoes will not be able to go through this mesh to get to the water. So this is the ideal way. One of the benefits also of this mesh is that even when rain does fall, water will go right through it. This is a typical example where this we have is a plastic drum and we have a metal cover here which is not designed for this. Whilst in some practice the intent is good, there may be occasions in which it does not fit or sit properly, and as a result you still have openings where mosquitoes can go right through and breed.
The mosquito is breeding right there in some very small places right around where you live. What is the habit we want you to develop? Once every week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Earlier this week, the Ministry of Health reported 2 imported cases of malaria since the beginning of 2017. Both patients are admitted to hospital while case investigation is on the way. They were infected with the malaria parasite, which is transmitted to humans by the infected bite of female Anopheles mosquito. Once infected, symptoms include fever, chills, headache, sweats, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting. Some population groups are at considerably higher risk of contracting malaria and developing severe disease. These include pregnant women, infants, children under 5 years of age, patients with HIV and AIDS, as well as non-immune migrants, mobile populations, and travelers. Malaria prevention medications are available in Jamaica, and the Health Ministry is urging persons to start taking the anti-malarial drugs before, during, and up to 1 month after traveling to an area impacted by malaria. If you develop any malaria-related symptom after returning from an affected territory, please seek medical attention. Let's preserve life and keep Jamaica healthy as we seek to create a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. We've come to the end of today's program. We sign off from your television screens, but the information continues to flow on our social media pages. For more on health and other relevant news, click on our YouTube channel, Twitter, and Facebook pages. You may also download our Google app to always stay in the know. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.